Pre-stylers, what are they, why should you be using them, and which is the best one for you? For you guys that follow me on Instagram, then you are familiar with this setup. This is quite often where I do my Ask a Man for Himself videos on Instagram, and where I kind of take your style, lifestyle, grooming questions and get them down to a 1-minute answer. I actually had a question around pre-stylers for that series, and I started doing it and I thought, actually this is pretty difficult to get it into a minute, so I thought, we'll actually just take the camera out of here and we'll do a full video. The what and the why of a pre-styler is actually fairly simple. The what is, it's a product that you use before styling, quite often with a hairdryer. The why is, you're gonna take your hair from its natural state into a state that you're sort of more happy with in order for styling. So for me, I've got very sort of fine, sometimes quite limp hair. I really want to boost it. So I use a product for thickening or for volume. Or you might be a guy with really curly hair and you're gonna use a pre-styler to sort of straighten it out. Or you might have frizzy hair, so you might use a smoothing treatment. I mean, there are so many, and I am gonna go through them. I've got loads of products back here, a lot of which have been sent over the years. These are the ones that I've kept because I like. So anything you see and I talk about, I will link. And they're kind of the products that I would say to be checking out. Bear with me. Okay, so I've categorized them into protect, smooth, volume, thicken, texture. When I did my last pre-styler video, which was actually just about a year ago, I had different categories, but I think either or works, but this one I think is probably just a little bit more simple, so if you are kind of wondering what to do, then this is the one for you. Now the first one is protect. There are a lot of people out there, some guys on YouTube, maybe yourself, that always say that you've got to be using a heat protectant. I would say that actually you don't, because a lot of these products I'm going to show you have got heat protection sort of baked into them. This one, however, I do really like. This one's by Fudge, and this is the Try Blow. It will protect it up to, I think, like 235 degrees Celsius. So if you are using a hairdryer to dry your hair, then get a heat protectant into it. It also does a bit of smoothing and also the tiniest bit of plumping. So you'll see that with a lot of these, they do kind of cross various categories. If you are using a hairdryer, guys, and you don't have a heat protectant, just take the heat down slightly. I always go medium heat, fast speed, literally always say that, and then just work through. The next one I've called smooth. I don't often use sort of smoothing treatments, but this is gonna be for guys who might have slightly more sort of wiry or curly hair. Someone who just wants to tame the hair in order to then go and style it. So some of my favorites actually, and one that I do use quite a lot, is the Label M Grooming Cream. This one, I really like in that it does smooth the hair and it allows it to then be styled. One of the sort of main things I use this for is for more sort of formal styles. So if I want hair that's closer to the head rather than big volume, I'll pop this into my hands, work through with a hairdryer and then style. But other sort of products that are great, Aveda I think is a fantastic brand in terms of protecting the hair and really keeping that hair health. They are like top of the game there. There's this one called Shampoo, which is more like a sort of conditioning treatment, but again will smooth. And then you've also, if you want to stick with those sort of naturals, you've got ones by Lush. This is Hair Custard. Again, will just smooth the hair. It also smells absolutely amazing. And guys, it will add a slight bit of volume. That does smell really good. Okay, next one, volume. This is kind of what I love from a pre-styler, because with styling treatments are really just to really cement that style in. You know, with a clay, think about it, you know, you've pre-styled, you get the clay and you kind of rub it through your hair and you sort of build that style in. It's not so much about building volume though, and that's when these products come in. If you're a guy who wants a big quiff, you want that huge volume, then for me, there's nothing better than a mousse. The Ask MFH I did at the start of this week actually, and mousses were my real go-to when I first started out on YouTube. You'll remember, you know, I used to do all those quiff videos, and I still kind of have that quiff, but it's not the massive cartoon character quiff. What what a quiff, what a mousse will do is the foam, we'll get it into your hands, through your hair, and with the heat it will activate it, and it almost builds this sort of lattice into the hair. It holds the hair and it builds this structure. And for me, there is nothing better for big volume. Next one is into thickening, and this really is sort of my favorite category out of all of these, purely because, as I said at the start, my hair is very fine, it's very fly away. I need a product that's going to grab onto the hair and really actually boost that full actual hair. What these do is they actually sort of wrap the hair in this product, and then the heat again will activate and just plump the hair to make it look bigger. One of my favorites has always been, again, a Veda thickening tonic. This is amazing, slightly more pricey, but really it is great. The Label M thickening tonic, which I would say if you're more on a budget, this is a good one for you. Or if you are wanting to look into something which, I mean, really the best brand in terms of thicker hair at the moment for me is Nioxin. You'll know I did those reviews on the System 1, but also their pre-styling treatments are amazing. Dye Boost is a massive go-to for me at the moment. This sort of wraps the hair in almost like bubble wrap, and it just plumps it so much. It's less for me about volume of this, but it's more about actual thickening. So if I'm gonna go out for a day and I don't want anything in my hair, I'll just use this. My final category of all of these is all about texture. Now, texture really, again, will work for someone who maybe has hair like mine, or even someone who just wants a little bit more movement into it. I would say that, you know, although these products do that, you can actually get more texture in with a cut that you have. So the barber can cut into the hair, take out some of that weight, and actually add a little bit more movement to it. So if you are someone that struggles with your hair just sitting a little bit limp, then maybe talk to your barber first and see what they can do with a cut. But you can then move on to products. I would say the best sort of product type for texture and a sort of go-to at summer for me is a sea salt spray. There are various ones which are good. Tony & Guy, who I've worked with before on their sea salt spray, again I think is great. Tony & Guy products. They are high street, so they're cheaper. It's not going to break the bank. Or again, Fudge, again I just think is an amazing one. You get Fudge Professional, but you also get the Fudge Urban, which again it's the slightly cheaper variety. You'll just sort of blast that in, and then you can either leave to dry naturally and sort of scrunch it for more of that sort of texture beachy look, or you can use a hairdryer to build up that volume and the texture in order to push it whichever way you want it. I would say one thing to bear in mind about sea salt sprays are that sea salt, by its very nature, is dehydrating. So if you've got very dry and coarse hair, a sea salt spray might not be the best for you, because really it will draw that, that moisture in the hair out. One good one, and this is Bumble and Bumble. They've got this surf spray, is it called that? Foam spray blow dry. This one I like because it's a bit of a hybrid between a mousse and a sea salt spray. So you've got all that texture from the sea salt, but then you've also got loads of volume, which makes it more like a mousse. But those are the sort of main products and the categories that I would say. Don't get too caught up and hung up on it. If you want to try different products, maybe talk to some of your friends, see if they've got some, or actually do pop into any of those sort of counters and see if they can give you some of these products just to try. They'll give you little samples. But I would say I am going to link everything, and I have done a full blog article, so I've gone more into these. But you know, do try. For me, it's been a lot of trial and error. I know myself what does suit me. Again, it's all about that thickening. But you know, you will find something. But there you go, guys. A little bit of a different one for me, sort of moving around a bit more vlog style. I don't know if this is something you like. For me, it was just quite nice not to be sat. But there you go. Thank you very much for watching. If you're new to my channel and you've not yet pressed subscribe, then please do hit subscribe right now. The button is just up there. There's also more video more video suggestions down there, and a link to that blog article I've done right there. But I'll see you in my next new video. It's gonna be Sunday. Bye-bye.